Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marcy. This is my channel about my crafty adventures and my outdoor hobbies. I am back in the she shed. Uh, it's been a while since I've last recorded out here. The last video I recorded in the house, I noticed the bright sun kind of blew everything out in the background, and I wanted to get back out here because the weather has turned nice. There's no snow on the ground. The sun is shining. It's warm out. It's currently windy. There's chances of thunderstorms today, which why is it such a Midwestern thing to always like launch into the weather? But yeah, I'm just happy it's not snow right now. Let me know if the twinkle lights work, if you can see them, or if you find them distracting. I have had positive feedback about the microphone, so I'll keep using it and try to remember to not bump it. Brain cramp. Last weekend was Mother's Day weekend. Happy belated Mother's Day to all those who celebrate it. My day was a really nice day. I had a very nice steak dinner prepared for me by my husband, and my son got me a bird bath. I will post a photo of the bird bath up here. And if you're curious about the whole day, I wrote something over on my blog at amnaconstudio.blogspot.com. Yeah, the weather has turned nice. I'm very thankful and grateful for that. I was thinking that winter wasn't ever going to end. I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by the sky because the clouds are moving in, so I don't know when the storm is supposed to start. I may have to pause this, I don't know. Okay, I have got some works in progress, some new starts, no finishes. This could be a short episode. We'll see. First thing I want to share is a project that I have been working on since January. January 10th, January 10th, I started this. It is my one stitch at a time that I'm participating in a stitch along with the Stitching Across the Sea Facebook group. One of these days, I really need to write it down. Across the Pond Stitch and Chat group on Facebook. This is what the chart looks like. I am stitching it on Charles Craft DMC linen 28 count in the tea dyed color. I'm using the DMC conversion. I purchased the chart over at 123 Stitch. Boy, oh, I like how these are showing. These are the flosses. I did change one of the colors. I changed the house from the blue that it was to be. My brain, I have been like immersed in work all morning. I'm once again recording on my lunch hour and my eyes are tired. My brain is fried. Why did I think I needed to record a video? But this is the color that I want my house to be because I live in a red house. I've never lived in a blue house. I remember this is what it looked like the last time I shared. And this is what it currently looks like, which once again, I forgot about the backing. Here we go. I still need to finish the bird. I started working on the house and the roof. I've got a loose thread. I'm working on the windows. The house, okay, this is my first time working on linen. I've got a few unintentional customizations going on in this. And the house, something happened. I don't know what, but the stitches are not, there's an extra row of stitches somewhere. So while you look at it, you can't see it. I can see it when I'm stitching, and it's causing me a little bit of frustration. And also I started feeling like I'm stitching into the void here. A lot of stitches. So I decided to take a break from it, and I put it away for, I think, 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I will stitch it this week or next week. I want to get this whole half of the chart done by the end of the month, because the chart is on 2 pages. I'm working on the left side first because it fits perfectly in the frame, and I didn't want to have to keep moving the Q-snap. So that's where that is so far. I'm starting to see more and more people sharing their finishes in the group, and I am so impressed. And some of them are even framed. I forgot to say the name of the chart. It's One Stitch at a Time. It is by La Di Da Stitches. The next thing I want to share is a new start. I started on May 3rd. I started Black Bellied Whistling Ducks by Lindy Stitches. This chart is part of the Bird Crush Club from 2023. I'm using some Hobby Lobby Ada 14 count mist colorway. Let's see. Even though I scanned in and converted the chart to a PDF, I'm stitching it from the paper chart. And the club, she included extra postcards and stickers. Here's the postcard. I've said before that I'm not much of a sticker person, although I'm trying to be. With the Book of Days, I didn't bring the Book of Days out with me, so I can't share that this time. But I thought there was something that I could do with the stickers, and it took me a little while. And I finally came up with something that I thought was really clever. And then I found out that maybe I was not as clever as I thought I was. But I ordered the parts to make, I ordered cabochons and made a zipper pull with one of the stickers. It was a practice one. If I can get that in real close. And I figured once I'm done with the chart, if I wanted to, I could take the jump ring off, and I could use it as a charm for a necklace, or just keep using it as a zipper pull, because I really like how these turned out. I did one for every one of the charts except the Blue Jay. I ended up not getting a sticker or a postcard for the Blue Jay, which I'm bummed out about, because I think the Blue Jay might have been my favorite. And I made a bigger one to go with my floss drops. What do they call these? Floss bling? I can get that one in close too. Well, I can try taking a picture and posting it up somewhere. Oh, and I didn't show off the floss. all DMC except for one Threadworks. You know what? Oh, some shadows. Maybe next time I'll angle the camera differently. I don't have much of the Threadworks left. I use that for the duck bodies. Here we go. I worked on this most of last week. And then I decided I needed to start something new, and I had to start it right now. You know how that goes. Okay, last episode I talked about wanting to start a Biscornu, my first Biscornu, and I shared a bunch of charts from the magazines that I had, and I think I said, try and guess which one you think I should start first. And I probably did not do the one anybody was expecting, and I started this one out and thought, I'll go with this one because it is easy. I thought, being that it is my first time making one, I don't know how to seam it together. I will start this one out. It'll be a good practice one, and then I can go on to make other Biscornus. I started the Love, Hugs, and Kisses by Arlene Cohen of WorksByABC. It's a trio of Biscornus. It is in my February 2023 Just Cross Stitch. That one. I'm covering up the address label. So I started these on a Friday, May 9th. It is one color, garnet, which is 816. I'm using Stash Ada fabric, 14 count, instead of the called for 28 count vintage smoky white Belfast linen from Zweigart. The floss that it's called for is DMC Moline Etoile, C816. I opted to use regular 816 because that's what I had in Stash. And I've used over a skein of floss so far, because I had a little bit before cracking into a brand new skein. Not quite done yet. Here is the first one, the smallest one. I think I completed it in an evening. Here is the front. And here is the back. The middle size one took me a few days. Here is the front. And here is the back. I'm liking the simplicity of the back ones. The fronts are definitely making up for it, and I don't know if it's normal for the backs to have a lot of embellishment on them or if they're more plain. So yes, I've got the deep heavy sigh coming on just thinking about this. So I got the first two done, and then I decided to do the third one a little differently by starting with the back first. And I decided to do the outline first, and then I started working on the back. And this gave me a lot of fits. Okay, these have 2 stitches in between each element. I frequently forgot and would only leave 1 stitch between each one. So I did this one first, that one, got down to this one, realized I messed up on these ones, had to come back, rip out this part, and not only did I only do 1 stitch between these 2, I also did 1 stitch on this one, or no, 1 stitch on this one, so I dropped the whole row. So I had to rip that out, and then last night I finished this piece, and I swear I triple checked each one of these, and I'm still worried that I messed something up. So by the time I was done with that, I was like, why did I decide to do the trio? Because by the time I'm done with all 3 of these, I'm sure that is more stitches than if I'd done one of the other Biscornus. But I am persevering. I still, maybe tonight, if I am up to it, I will start the front of the 3rd one. And okay, the 3rd one looks like that. I wish I could show the chart so you could see it's much more dense, stitch dense than the rest of them. And a lot of back stitching for the words. Yeah, I'll be glad to have these done. I'm a little burned out on them. I did find, I think it was Satsuma Street or Tiny Modernist. I don't remember which. I did a Google search for YouTube videos on how to sew these Biscornus together, and then I learned it's deceptively easy to stitch them together and have them look so cool. So I'm very happy about that. I am a little worried that my stitching on the side, my whip stitching together, might come out a little wonky. Yep, I did all that. And then I forgot, I guess I do have an FO. I forgot about this. I finally stitched the last works in progress bag that I wanted to stitch for myself. I think back in February I found some fabric. Oh, it must have been Hobby Lobby, because I haven't gone anywhere else to look. And I found this fabric that I thought was so cute, and I thought it would be perfect to work with. Maybe it was January. To have a project bag to go with my Bedelia bunny that I've finished, but still haven't fully finished because I still haven't decided on what fabric I want to use. I'm leaning more towards making that into a pillow, but I need to find fabric still. And I might use this fabric, we'll see. But this is the fabric that I chose or found and decided to use as a works in progress bag. I thought it was so cute. That chubby bunny. There's the front. If you are a reader on my blog, yeah, I wrote about this. This did not turn out the way I was hoping it would. I don't know what happened. I followed the Fat Quarter Shop's work in progress bag video for making this style, because this is my favorite style of works in progress bag for cross stitch. My backing ended up smaller than my front, and that resulted in me having to figure. I didn't realize this until after I sewed the front together and then the back, and I was not about to rip all this out and make the front smaller. So I trimmed it down and I worked with what I had. So it's not as polished as it could look, but you know, I finished it and I looked at it, and um, I I liked how I do like how it turned out despite the unevenness of it. And really, I mean, a few years from now, I'll be like, well, I don't know. So I do have one FO. After this, I don't think I'll be doing any more project bags for quite some time. I had the idea that I should get some template plastic and make templates for cutting out the size vinyl I want and the size for the back fabric. They don't make template plastic as large as I need it to be. So I decided to get some poster board and size it to the size that I want, and I'm going to try that when I have the urge to make another project bag. Or I may decide to give if you heard that, that was a chicken. um, the tutorial by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, because that one keeps popping up for me, and I've actually not watched that one yet, so I don't know how it compares to this one. This one I'm well versed in, so the familiarity of it is more my comfortable for me to just start working with it. Enough rambling about that. I do have one knitting project, and that is a sock. It is a very plain sock. It is stash yarn that I've had for I don't know how long. I decided I needed to get another vanilla sock on the needles. I came out here, did some looking. This was the first skein of yarn that I saw, and I thought I'll just go ahead and work with it, and it'll be great. Knit Pick Stroll in the licorice tweed color. Still trying to find where the thing is. Okay, so I think a friend sent this to me out of her stash. If it's the one that if it's the friend I'm thinking of, she decided to give up knitting, which on the one hand I'm kind of sad about, because everyone should knit. Everyone should be able to knit, but it just wasn't her thing. And now she's cross stitching and she is thoroughly enjoying that. I did not look to see when I started this, and I don't have a project card for it because I thought I would look. You know what? Hold on. I started these on May 3rd. I started the sock on May 3rd. And I don't feel like I've been working on it a lot, but I'm kind of cruising along with it. And I am down on the foot already. I say that like I just started these last week. When I think about it, this was almost 2 weeks ago, more than 2 weeks ago. I feel so discombobulated right now. Gosh, I swear. Not really, but I do. So I've been working on these in the mornings, in the car, sometimes in the evenings. This past weekend, we went out for bike rides and a kayak ride. I didn't stitch these in the kayak, although how fun would that be? But you can't fish in it at the same time. So just brought it with me, and then when we were done with our picnics, I would pull this out and stitch a few rows on it, depending on the amount of time we had left. The color is a charcoal gray, and there's flecks of multicolors in there. Mostly yellows and blues, although I do see a little bit of red. I'm not in any rush to complete these either. So that is all that I have for projects to share. I do have a little tiny bit of haul. I was up at Hobby Lobby recently, picking up floss for a different project that I just purchased from, well, I purchased another chart from my puppy stitchery because she put up one featuring finches. I love finches. I think I waxed poetic about her charts in the last episode that she does a lot of birds. I love the birds. Yeah. What else is there to say about it? I got the floss. And then I meandered over because I saw they had yarn for 30% off, and I was not really looking for yarn. I just kind of perused, and then I saw 2 skeins of yarn, and I thought, I wonder what these would look like knitted up as emotional support chickens. Yes, I'm gonna start another emotional support chicken. um, this one, I mean, it just screams chicken to me. This one is, well, they're both, I love this yarn. This one is Jazzed Stripe. And this one is Emerald Pine, which sounds familiar somehow. But, and then they're showing the stripes right there. This one does not have that. So 30% off. I mean, not that the yarn is terribly expensive to begin with, but it just seemed like a sign that I need to definitely knit more emotional support chickens. And then, but I think the next one that I stitch is going to be in this yarn, which is Berry. Another I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, Berry. But then I'm also kind of second guessing this one too. I will definitely need to put some kind of other color in, because there's a few spots on the, if I had a chicken here, I would show you. There's a few places where it calls for stripes, and I think I will do that with this. I might do that, kind of like a lacy doily collar. No, not lacy, not doily, but white, kind of a dainty little white around the neck maybe. I might do that. Oh, and then I bought some yarn from Knit Picks too. Starting to feel like every 4 or 5 years now, I decide to do a big order for sock yarn from Knit Picks for making vanilla socks. The yarn I don't mean to keep turning around. But it's so nice to be able to just like reach back and grab stuff. I have all this beautiful yarn from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I feel like it should be more than just vanilla sock. That I've got plenty of patterns in books and patterns online that I can access, that these should have some kind of pattern to them rather than just be plain stockinette. So yeah, every several years I get the hankering to order the Felici sock yarn. There we are. And I bought all the yarn all the colorways they had up on the website, which was 13 or 14 of them. Again, they're on sale for 20% off, I think. So that helped ease it. Yeah, and this yarn, it'll probably last me 4 or 5 years because I don't crank the socks out as fast as some of the other people. I do like keeping my hands busy, and vanilla socks are the perfect way to do that. And they make good gifts too if you need to give a gift to somebody. I have a few people that I give them once in a while, and I know the one kind of coveted the last pair that I gave her and made them last for several years before they finally wore a hole in them. And I do not darn socks, so I guess that's it. Wow. I finished the audiobook series I was listening to, Gone by Michael Grant. I need book suggestions. I have a few on reserve through the Libby app. I'm waiting for them to come in. But I am open to almost any book genre. My only caveat's that, I'm not a big fan of the real spicy romance scenes in them. They kind of make me cringe. But fantasy, um, contemporary romance. And then I finished watching the Father Brown series, so I'm all caught up on that. I need to, I guess, get started on Sister Boniface. After I'm done with watching that series, I have no idea what to watch. I'm actually rewatching in the background. What was I watching last night? What was it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I started listening to Ugly Betty again. Oh, Castle. I was listening to Castle while I was sewing on quilt blocks together because the quilting bug is starting to get me again, and I have a project that I've had languishing for over 2 years. And it's not that the quilt is complicated. I'm of the mindset that close enough is good enough, but I also like to get things as perfect as possible, but I'm not so obsessive about it that I'll rip quilt squares apart and redo them. But I'm at a point where I'm sewing the 4 quadrants together, and then I need to trim them down, and then I need to sew them together, and it's kind of a pattern where everything needs to meet together in the center. And if it's not quite right, you do notice. So I think that's my block on that one. But I'm telling myself I need to get going and finish that, and then I can start something new because that needs to get done. Yeah, and then I can start something fun. Pat Sloan, I'm sure, is going to be doing some kind of block a week or block of the month pretty soon for the summer, and I have lots of fabric scraps that I like to work with. That's what I did with that quilt back there, which you can't really see, but a few years ago she did a 9-week quilt along for Christmas, and I did that all with scraps. Pretty pleased with it. It's just a shame that it's out here covering up stuff so it doesn't look like such a mess out here. All right, I am going to let you go. Hopefully I can get this edited tonight and load it tomorrow. Until next time, bye.